Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian Envy, strong style, cinephile. So, Flash, Armageddon, Part 1. Let us geek about it for a scant few minutes. Now we know Armageddon is the 5-part entry into Season 8 of The Flash. Man, has it been 8 years already? Wow. I still maintain my opinion that this show is on fumes, and I hope Season 8 is the last, but it probably won't be, but that's a whole nother rant for another day. But we knew that Armageddon was going to be a 5-part series that brought back some familiar faces to team up with the Flash to help him solve this problem, which we knew was going to be Despero. We didn't know the circumstances, but now we do, because the episode opens with this shot from the future where Despero is basically saying, the city's in peril, I need to go and save it. And he wants to save it by killing the Flash, because for some reason, somehow, some way, Flash in the future is bad, evil, did something, is doing something to bring about the end of days. We don't know what the circumstances are. I'm sure that it's going to be revealed that it's like some meta that he's trying to stop, and you know, things get misconstrued or whatever, because Cecile says later in the episode that she did a scan of Despero's like residual mental energy or some, you know, jargony type of superpower thing, where she felt that at least he feels that what he saw is real and is genuine. It may not be, but in his mind, what he saw, it is. So whatever he saw that made him think that was enough to convince him. That was the gist of the episode, is Despero coming back to encounter the Flash and basically says, you're going to be evil, I'm going to have to kill you. Basic setup. Outside of that, around that, you had them dealing with the Royal Flush Gang, an iteration of it. I like them, I enjoy them, but oh my god, the puns, the card game related puns, the poker related puns in this episode, I was like, oh god, can we stop? Like, I'd expected like a couple from the outset, but they just kept coming and coming and coming from everybody in the gang, and I was, oh my god. They were in there. Basically, they had this long con game to steal cryptocurrency. Flash stops him, and that's the end of that. Outside of that, the episode was kind of setting up kind of where people are now, because the last season ended without a cliffhanger. It was just a nice happy ending, and now we're kind of catching up where people are. Iris is Central City Citizen, is now Central City Citizen Media, where it's a bigger company. Iris has got a podcast. She's doing well. They've got a huge building now, or at least the floor space that we've seen. More staffers, just more, which brings in more concerns and ways that she's got to split her time, because apparently she's still dealing with time sickness, so she's got to handle that. But she makes Allegra and managing editor, which the other reporters aren't exactly happy about it at first. And Allegra is kind of down about it, doesn't want to do it, so kind of doubts herself, and then she gets a pep talk from Iris and then turns things around. That's one of those things where it's like, I know you have to give the character something to do, but I wouldn't have made her an editor over some of the more experienced, seasoned people. But you got to give the character something to do, so whatever. You have Caitlyn and Barry talking. Earlier in the episode, Caitlyn is kind of ready to get back out in the dating world for one of the first times since Ronnie died. And of course, she had a thing for that other guy in that other season who turned out to be kind of evil. And then we hear kind of what Frost is doing, that she's apparently off on some sabbatical, which explains why she's not in the episode, why she might not be in the Armageddon series, maybe not. She's still getting over Chilblain. That's what they're doing. You have Captain Kramer, who was on Iris's podcast, who reveals that she's a meta. She's comfortable in that. We know, remember, she has those copycat powers that are just random and just kind of spurred on by adrenaline in the moments of fight or flight mode. The Metahuman Task Force has been disbanded, so that's a thing. Barry is faster, more confident, more sure of himself. We see he saved a whole bunch of people from a train, 2 trains colliding in a flash, pun intended. So you have those things, but it balances with when Despero kind of knocks him down and he's about to like punch him before like Adam jumps in, and he's just sitting there. He's just kind of like, but you're the Flash. You should be able to just zip out of the way before the punch comes. So it's just those little things. I understand. It's the TV show. It's just stuff they have to do. I mean, there are going to be constraints. I know people complain about it every season, but there are going to be just constraints put on Flash and his speed and moments that he uses it just for the sake of television. It's just something that after 8 years, you should be accustomed to it. It's just what we have to deal with, and it's fine. It's whatever. And the fight with Despero was typical of Flash spinning around in circles. Again, it's like one of those things where it's like, this is what we're doing. It's kind of basic, it's kind of boring, but it's where we are. We knew from the set photos and kind of set notes that we had heard that we knew the guy playing Despero in his human form had basically like a giant Kamen Rider Henshin belt, and figured that was going to be used to go from human form to his Despero form, which is what we saw in the episode. The key to defeating him was Ray going in and messing with it, which sent him back to some random place before Barry kind of calls him back and then reveals his identity to him to kind of prove to Despero that he's not the killer that Despero thinks he is. The CG on him, daylight CG on the Arrowverse, on the TV budget's never really good. It wasn't in this case. It wasn't Warehouse 13 bad, but it wasn't the best. I think subsequent scenes will be Despero at night, so you can kind of hide those blemishes of bad CG at night. Remains to be seen how it looks. You had Ray Palmer come into the episode. He was the guest of honor, Legacy Award recipient at this tech con that's going on. And Chester and him kind of bump heads because Chester's got this agenda set up for him. He's his liaison to the event, and he's just doing all these things that he thinks Ray wants. And he gets all these people together to kind of pitch Ray their ideas for him to invest in another small company and make another tech company. And Ray's kind of like, no, I'm not feeling that. Ray is trying to figure out where he wants to go and who he wants to be, because he's not a legend anymore. He's not really trying to be the Atom anymore, so he's just trying to, is it a midlife crisis type of thing? Maybe like past midlife crisis type of thing, where he just doesn't know, he's just unsure of himself at this point. Take some pep talks from some people for him to kind of get back in the saddle, get back in the suit, and help out, save the day. Of course, it's a team-up episode. And I liked that. I always love Brandon Routh. He's a great guy, great actor. Circumstances of him and his wife leaving Legends wasn't exactly their doing, so it's kind of a bittersweet thing for him to come back. But it was cool to see him this evolution of his character. It just continued this evolution of his character. We got a satisfying sort of mini arc from him in this appearance. It wasn't wasted, I don't think. It benefited the Flash, and it benefited Ray as a character. If we ever see him come back, cool. If this is his swan song, that's cool too. I'm wondering if we're going to see him in the episode, because we know Ryan Choi is coming back, that character, and we've seen set photos of him in the slimmed down, spandexy sort of Atom suit. So is Ray going to pass on his tech to Ryan? Is Ryan going to make his own? Remains to be seen how that plays out, but I'm curious about it. So all in all, this was a fun episode. It wasn't with some, quirks about it, some hiccups here and there that are just par for the course when it comes to the Flash, when it comes to the CW, when it comes to the writers, when it comes to the episodes that they churn out. It is what it is. I mean, like I said, this is season 8. 8 years into this. We know how it's going to be. When you go in, you should know that. If you're disappointed by some of this kind of basic stuff that they do over and over again, that's your fault, because that's what they're going to do, because they've done it to this point. So I'm here for it. I'm here to see Flash and Black Lightning team up and have scenes together, because they were great in Crisis. The dynamic between Javicia Leslie's Ryan Wilder and, Flash teaming up, working together. I'm kind of curious how that's going to go, because as far as Flash last knew of Batwoman, it was Kate Kane, but now it's this person. So I'm kind of wondering how they're going to get along. Are they going to butt heads, because there's totally different styles? Remains to be seen how Mia's going to get involved from the future. Remains to be seen. So it was just a cool, fun episode. I'm here to see more with it, to see what happens. So anyway, those are my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are. But you guys out there think, let me know in the comments below. Follow me, social media, talk to me there, talk to me here. Until next time, let us geek.